What's good, sports fans? Are you ready to elevate your live entertainment experience? Well, let me introduce you to SeatGeek, an amazing platform that connects you to your favorite events while saving you money. With SeatGeek, you can easily find tickets for sports games, concerts, and so much more, all in one place. The interface is user-friendly, making it simple to browse and compare prices. And one of the best features is the interactive seating chart. You can see exactly where you'll be sitting and how much you'll be spending, ensuring you get the best value for your money. But here's the best part. Check this out. By using my promo code, ChalkItUpSports, you can enjoy a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. That's right, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Imagine catching that thrilling game or concert without breaking the bank. It's a win-win situation. Plus, you'll be a part of a community of fans who eat, sleep, and breathe live events just as much as you do. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to download the SeatGeek app today. And don't forget to use my promo code ChalkItUpSports for a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. Get excited. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah. What's good? We're back. Football season is in full effect. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields the second. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. My God, it feels good to see some shoulder pads smacking today. I can't wait. You feel me? I can't wait to see these guys going out there, laying it all out on the line, doing something I could never do. You feel what I'm saying? I got to give a lot of love to these guys, man. Got to get love to the number one guy on the depth chart. Got to give love to all the way to the fourth or fifth guy on the depth chart, man. Like these guys, put in a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifices are made for these games to be played. And I am eternally grateful. I'm super excited. Time for guys to prove why they belong in the NFL. Time for guys to prove why they deserve that paycheck. And trust and believe, it's going to be some brawling out there today. It's going to be some brawling, man. A lot of these players out here that are going to be playing today, nothing is guaranteed for them. No guaranteed dollars. They are on a game-by-game, week-by-week, practice-by-practice basis. They're trying to earn some real chicken for their kids, their families, their wives. Maybe they got a sick mother or a sick family member, bills to pay. I don't take that part lightly. These guys are humans. They men out here, and they fighting for a dollar with every hit, every tackle, every pass deflection, every interception, every sack, every play matters for these guys, man. So let's make sure we treat the preseason with the proper reverence that it deserves, because there's a lot of guys out there that this may be their last opportunity, their last hurrah. This may be their last football game they ever play on this level. So we gotta show credence to that. Nonetheless, I'm super excited, man. Football season is in full effect. We're here now. No turning back. What happened in 2024, the 2025 season, the 2024-2025 season doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. Yes, the Eagles are Super Bowl champions, Super Bowl 59 champions, but now it's all about Super Bowl 60. Now it's all about preparing for the future, preparing for now and forward. Whatever happened back then, it's in the past. It can't help us now. It can't help us. New team, new roster, some new faces on the coaching staff, right? But the same hunger, the same drive, the same dedication, the same attention to detail, the same diligence, the same commitment to the craft and the goal That doesn't change, right? A new set of adversity. New things are going to come across the Philadelphia Eagles plate this year, and they're going to have to figure out how to get past it, right? So I'm super excited. Time for the birds to get this thing cracking. And we had some things to talk about today, you guys. Yesterday, if you guys missed the show yesterday, totally okay. Make sure you guys lock in on the playback. But if you guys missed the show yesterday, we spoke about my top 5 players that I'm going to be watching. In tonight's game. Eagles versus Bengals. Home game for the Eagles, man. I know the link is going to be packed, jam-packed with people. I saw this video on Twitter. This guy was tailgating at like midnight. I'm like, yo, this dude's a psychopath. But nonetheless, if you guys missed yesterday's show, we were discussing my top 5 players to watch, right? And just to give you guys a quick refresher, a quick reminder of what we were discussing yesterday, my top 5 players that I'm going to be watching were Keely Ringo at corner. We all understand the stakes are very high for a guy like Keely Ringo. We understand that tremendously. The next guy was Ty Robinson. Ty Robinson, his role is going to increase now that our guy, Thomas Booker IV, is no longer on the roster. He got traded to the Raiders. Jihaad Campbell, the first-round rookie, going to be super excited to see him. He plays with a lot of aggression, plays with a lot of fire in his belly. Sidney Brown, same thing, plays with a lot of fire. A guy that we're looking at to potentially win this starting safety spot. I know some people are rooting for Andrew Makuba, but listen, we should be rooting for the best player to end up on the football field, not our favorite player, the best player. And Sidney Brown is trying to prove that he's the best player for the job. And then number 5 was Elijah Cooks, wide receiver. This wide receiver has been making a name for himself in Eagles training camp. He's been making a lot of plays. He's been someone whose name has come up multiple times in various articles written by various reporters. So Elijah Cooks has been somebody that's been, earning his keep. 6'4", 215 pound frame. Big dude at the position. I'm really curious to see what that catch radius looks like, right? So those were my top 5 guys that I'm going to be looking at. But I want to take it a step further today. And before I do so, give me one moment, you guys. I got to turn this fan off. It's bothering my eyes. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right. My apologies, you guys. If you're just hopping into the live stream, I just got finished breaking down how yesterday's live stream went. We discussed my top 5 players to watch. Keely Ringo, Ty Robinson, Jihaad Campbell, Sidney Brown, and Elijah Cooks. Those are my top 5 players I'm going to be watching. But I want to take it a step further with you guys today. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I want to take it a little further today, okay? I want to discuss some non-rookies to watch, right? So I'm going to give you guys I'm going to give you guys 2 separate lists, right? We're obviously really excited to see what the rookies look like. Antoine Powell-Ryland, Matt McWilliams, Smile Mondon, Jihaad Campbell, and Andrew Makuba is injured. He won't play, most likely. He's dealing with that shoulder, so he likely won't play tonight. Drew Kendall at center, Cameron Williams at offensive tackle, Miles Hinton also at offensive tackle, Kyle McCord, right? There's all the rookies that we want to see. We know we're going to be keeping our eyes on the rookies, and we are going to tap into the rookies in this live stream. Don't doubt that for a second. But I want to tap into some names that I didn't mention, right? Who are non-rookies, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6-year players, veterans, right? Guys who are trying to make the roster. I want to tap into some other players that we should be looking out for who just so happen to not be rookies, and also who just so happens to not be on my top 5 lists of players to watch, okay? So let's keep this thing going here. Let me see here. All right, where do we want to begin with this? Okay. Well, let me put it to you this way. I'm going to address the guys who were drafted, right? But before that, I want to address guys who weren't drafted and guys who are not rookies, right? Guys who are literally on the fringe of the roster. So let's get into it here. Let me bring this up. So, all right. Here's my list of non-rookies to watch, right? Players who are not rookies, but we are definitely going to be paying attention to what they do in this preseason game, right? Let me see if I can make this a little better. It's too small. Okay, so, all right. So, Azeez Ojulari. Let's start with Azeez Ojulari, right? Azeez Ojulari is a player, former Georgia Bulldog. The Eagles brought him in on a one-year deal, 6'3", 240. Azeez Ojulari's problem has never been talent. His problem has never been production. His problem has been health, right? And even with the injuries, he's proven that he can get to the quarterback, right? Maybe not, at an elite level. He hasn't had a double-digit sack season yet, but he's had seasons where he was trending that way, but then the injury would offset that, right? Rookie season, 8 sacks, 17 games played, 13 games started. 2022, his second season, 7 games played, 5 starts, 5.5 sacks. So that was his breakout year until he got hurt. Then 2023, 11 games played, 7 starts, 2.5 sacks. Had a little bit of a down year, still battled injury. 2024, 11 games played, 5 games started, 6 sacks. So he's a guy that, despite the injuries, he's shown that he can get to the quarterback. He does have that ability. But again, new team, new opportunity, new set of expectations. Now he's not being asked to be the guy. He's asked to be somebody who can stay healthy and be a rotational edge rusher that can be productive. So I'm going to be paying close attention to Azeez Ojulari tonight, seeing how he responds. Because again, he's a very talented pass rusher. Can he take advantage of these second and third string and fourth string offensive linemen, guys who are on the fringe of the roster? So we'll see what Azeez Ojulari can do. The same thing goes for Josh Uche. Josh Uche hasn't had as a productive career as Azeez Ojulari. Josh Uche, 6'1", 240. He's struggled. He's been in the league a little longer. Let me see here. Azeez Ojulari is going into his 5th season, and Josh Uche is going into his 7th, going into his 6th season. So, Josh Uche has a year on Azeez Ojulari in terms of experience, but even so, when you just look at the production of Azeez Ojulari versus Josh Uche has done more with less opportunities. Let's just call it what it is. Azeez Ojulari has done more than Josh Uche with less opportunities. He's been more efficient. But Josh Uche has had a stronger bill of health than Azeez Ojulari. But Josh Uche, his best season was 2022. He had 11.5 sacks with the Patriots, but he hasn't even been able to crack 4 sacks a season, either before that or after that. So Uche is somebody that I've been skeptical about as of late. But again, as of late, he's somebody who's been showing and flashing in training camp. He's somebody that's been raising a lot of eyebrows in training camp for good reason. And Azeez Ojulari, on the other hand, has kind of had a quiet training camp. So you guys do with that what you will, but Josh Uche has a lot to prove as well. He's somebody who's also on a one-year deal, who's also fighting for his football future. And I just believe Ojulari is probably the more talented guy, but Uche has turned more heads in training camp. So this preseason game, this first one, we're going to be able to see these guys on the field. We may see them on the field at the exact same time. So we're going to be able to see what these guys have, and also if they can take advantage of second, third, and fourth string guys. Again, Uche, his ceiling is 11.5 sacks, but his floor is 2 sacks. So that's a large disparity for me. Whereas though Ojulari, his highs and his lows, his high in sacks is 8 sacks, but his low is 2.5. but an injury-riddled season. But he's been more consistent. 8 sacks, 5.5 sacks, 2.5 sacks, 6 sacks. He can give you, he's averaging about 5 or 6 sacks a year. That's cool for a backup edge. But then Ojulari, on the other hand, as a matter of fact, let's put it to you this way. If you extrapolate their numbers and average it over a 17-game span, Ojulari is averaging 8 sacks per 17 games, right? And then Uche is averaging 5 sacks per 17 games. So, again, both of those guys have a lot to gain and a lot to lose. We'll see what they ultimately do with the opportunities tonight. Byron Young and Gabe Hall at D tackle, right? Byron Young is somebody I've talked a lot about, right? Other than Thomas Booker IV, Byron Young might be my second most talked about defensive tackle on this Philadelphia Eagles team. Now, Byron Young's story is very interesting, right? Byron Young, let me see here. I pulled up the wrong Byron Young. All right. There we are. Byron Young, 6'3", 292, went to Alabama. Byron Young was drafted in the 3rd round by the Las Vegas Raiders, right? And at Alabama, he wasn't necessarily a sack machine. He only has 8 total sacks at Alabama in 53 total games. So he's not really a high-volume sack guy by any metric whatsoever. He does get TFLs, though. So Byron Young being a 3rd rounder, he's somebody that can defend the run as well. So when you think about Byron Young now with the Philadelphia Eagles, he didn't really get too much of an opportunity with the Raiders. The Eagles traded for him in the 2024 offseason. They managed to keep him from the practice squad because they still saw value in the player, and they wanted to try to develop the player, right? But Byron Young, an Alabama guy, 3rd round pick, he's entering his 3rd year in the NFL. 2023, he was a rookie. 2024, he didn't play at all because he was on the Eagles roster. And 2025, 3rd season. But this will be his 2nd season active, if that makes sense to you guys. So Byron Young is somebody I've talked a lot about. I've always assumed, and again, the operative word is assume, right? I've always assumed that Byron Young is somebody the Philadelphia Eagles see value in because of how they handled him in 2024. They traded for him, and then on top of that, they didn't necessarily allow him to hit that practice squad, if I'm not mistaken. And make sure, let me see if I can double check that real quick. But Byron Young is somebody that the Philadelphia Eagles wanted to develop. And by them trading Thomas Booker IV, that means that they're pretty confident in that room, right? Obviously, you got Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Jomo. We don't worry about those guys. But then after that, you got Ty Robinson, Gabe Hall, Byron Young, right? You got some other guys as well who aren't really the big names that we talk about, like a Jacob Sykes or a Joe Evans, right? But Byron Young, Ty Robinson, and Gabe Hall, they are considered to be your 2nd and 3rd string D tackles. And Jacob Sykes and Joe Evans are on the fringe. But Byron Young, he's somebody that I think has a chance to take his game to another level. We're going to see tonight and see what he does. Granted, there's still a lot of training camp and 2 more preseason games left after the one that played tonight. But Byron Young and Gabe Hall, those 2 guys, we're going to keep an eye on those guys because you trade Thomas Booker IV and you also drafted Ty Robinson, right? So they're all going to be competing for reps. And the Eagles are very high on Gabe Hall. That's one of the reasons they traded Thomas Booker IV because Gabe Hall has made a lot of strides, and I think Gabe Hall is somebody that could really make this roster. Right now, Byron Young, we will see. If I had to make an educated guess, I do believe the Eagles keep 6 D tackles on his roster. I do believe that, but we'll see nonetheless. All right, next up, we got Adoree Jackson at corner. And again, we're talking about non-rookies right now, non-rookies. Okay, we're talking about people who are veterans or maybe 2nd or 3rd or 4th year players. right? Guys who are trying to make this roster, right? Guys who are fighting for their football futures. Adoree Jackson at corner. Now, Adoree Jackson, his story is a little more interesting. Adoree Jackson is probably, other than Kendall Lamb, he's probably the OG on this list, right? Adoree Jackson, 5'11", 185, 29 years old. He'll be 30. He'll be 30 when the season starts, right? Was drafted by the Tennessee Titans in the first round, 18th overall in the 2017 NFL Draft. But then never saw a second contract with the Tennessee Titans, and they didn't pick up his fifth-year option. The New York Giants ultimately picked him up in his fifth season, and he's battled injuries throughout his career, in particular from 2019 to 2022 for the most part. 2023 and 2024, he missed a few games here and there, but more so from 2019 to 2022, he really hasn't been the most active player. And the injuries have offset his development, offset his career, affected him greatly. And now he's trying to prove that he still can play in this league at a high level. And I don't think a lot of Eagles fans, I'm just going off what I've heard, what I've seen. I don't think a lot of Eagles fans have been pretty high on Adoree Jackson. And honestly, Adoree Jackson hasn't really done enough to separate himself from Kelee Ringo, hasn't really done enough for himself to stand out. And even Vic Fangio made it clear that I don't really care what he did in his career. I don't care about the past. I don't care about where he was drafted. I don't care about none of that stuff. The bottom line is he has to prove he can play today. He has to prove he can play today. Simple as that, right? So Adoree Jackson, it doesn't help his case that the Philadelphia Eagles traded for Jacorian Bennett, a young 24-year-old corner who's currently on his rookie deal. So he provides a ton of value for the Philadelphia Eagles if he can play. And Jacorian Bennett, he was traded from the Raiders. He played in the AFC West. So he had to deal with Bo Nix, had to deal with Justin Herbert and those guys, right? He had to deal with Patrick Mahomes and so on and so forth. He had to deal with guys like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Ladd McConkey. Had to deal with Cortland Sutton, right? He's had good battles against Jamar Chase, right? So Jacorian Bennett directly threatens Adoree Jackson's prospects of making his roster. And because Kelee Ringo has special teams value, and then the Eagles traded for Jacorian Bennett, with him having value as well, both of them being on rookie deals, I have a hard time believing that Adoree Jackson makes this roster. Maybe he does because he's a veteran, maybe, but Adoree Jackson doesn't have special teams value. His best bet is beating out these young guys, and I just don't know if he has that. I don't know because he hasn't stood out as of late. So it's hard for me to assume he'll stand out at any point. But again, I've been wrong before. So Adoree Jackson at corner. And also, by the way, the Eagles have Eli Ricks. They like Eli Ricks. You know, does Eli Ricks make the roster? Totally possible, right? They also got Matt McWilliams. Matt McWilliams is a young player that we're going to talk about later on, but Matt McWilliams has turned a lot of heads at training camp. So we'll see. We'll see about Adoree Jackson. And Tristan McCullum, he's somebody that Vic Fangio says can play, has to learn how to be consistent, has to string together the positive plays and get rid of the negative ones. So Tristan McCullum, you know, when you think about the safety room right now, Reed Blankenship, Andrew Makuba, Sidney Brown, Tristan McCullum. I think Andre Sam is still on his roster, right? Andre Sam, Lewis Seen, Maxon Hook, right? Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown, and Andrew Makuba are going to make this roster. Now, in what capacity is the question? Will Sidney Brown be the starting safety? Will Drew McCool be the starting safety? That's the question. But Fangio mentioned Tristan McCullum is in that competition, right? That's what he said. Nonetheless, you get beyond Reed, you get behind Sidney Brown, you get beyond Makuba. Now you ask yourself who makes this roster. I don't think Lewis Seen makes this roster at all. I think Lewis Seen is going to be one of the first people cut. Then you get to Tristan McCullum, Andre Sam, Maxon Hook. Maxon Hook is a young player. Maxon Hook is an undrafted rookie, undrafted free agent. He went to the University of Toledo. So the Philadelphia Eagles, you know, they drafted Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo. So they wanted to tap into that well again, see if they can find another young DB. right? Andre Sam, the Eagles like him as well. So Tristan McCollum, if he makes this roster, he's going to be competing with Andre Sam, going to be competing with Maxon Hook, right? Lewis Seen, who I don't think makes this roster. But nonetheless, Tristan McCollum, large frame. I think Tristan McCollum was like 6'3", like 6'3", 6'4", like 220 pounds, 215 pounds. Big frame. So if he can figure it out, hey, he could bring some competition to the room, some much needed competition, and probably make a guy like, I don't know, a guy like Sidney Brown or Andrew Makuba a little uncomfortable. You never know. It all remains to be seen. But Tristan McCollum is somebody I'm going to be watching as well. Elijah Cooks, I mentioned him already. He's in my top 5 guys that I'm watching. Terrace Marshall Jr., wide receiver, right? Terrace Marshall Jr., he's another interesting player as well. Terrace Marshall went to LSU. He was drafted by the Carolina Panthers, if I'm not mistaken, in the 2nd round. And, you know, he wasn't the number one. He wasn't the number one in LSU. He played next to Jamar Chase. Now, granted, there were some people who thought, hey, Terrace Marshall Jr. is the better receiver than Jamar Chase. Obviously, Terrace Marshall Jr. has not proven that on the NFL level, right? Nonetheless, 6'2", 200 pounds, nice frame, right? Drafted by the Carolina Panthers, spent 3 years there, spent his 4th season with the Las Vegas Raiders, right? These past 2 seasons, he's battled injuries, hasn't really been able to really make a claim for himself, and hasn't really been able to break out. Only has 1 career touchdown, right? Only has 808 career receiving yards. Only has 67 career receptions and 116 career targets, right? Over a 4-year span. He's never been able to prove he's a number 1, never really been able to prove he's a reliable number 2, right? Now, with the Philadelphia Eagles, he's not going to be asked to be neither of those things, right? The Eagles won't need him to be a number 1 or number 2 if he makes his roster. They won't even need him to be a number 3. They'll need him to be a number 4. Right? Maybe number 5, depending on how many receivers they bring onto the roster. But can Terrace Marshall Jr. make this roster? Some people say yes. I say I don't know. Some people feel like he's having a good training camp. I say he's missed too many days for me to say he's having a good training camp. I think Elijah Cooks has him beat right now. I think Ainias Smith has him beat right now. And that takes me to Ainias Smith because he's somebody who's made plays. He's somebody who's made plays in training camp. And I'm going to get to all your super chats, you guys. Best believe that. I'm not going to forget about you guys at all. I will get to all your super chats. I appreciate the love, and I appreciate the support. I really, really do. I'm going to get to all your super chats here. So, again, Elijah Cooks, I mentioned. Terrace Marshall Jr., we'll see what he can do tonight. He's definitely going to get burned. Ainias Smith is somebody who's going to get burned tonight as well. But Ainias Smith, you know, he had a really good season finale in week 17 against the New York Giants, scored a touchdown, got a lot of reps, got a lot of receptions. And then he comes in the year 2 working directly under A.J. Brown. He's been glued to A.J. Brown's hip this offseason. A.J. Brown dropped a vlog with him and Ainias Smith working out at Lincoln Financial Field. And Ainias Smith has been taking his body, taking his craft more seriously. He looks more confident in camp, and it's been showing on the football field. So Ainias Smith can very well beat out Terrace Marshall Jr., right? Elijah Cooks can very well beat out Terrace Marshall Jr., right? Even the kid Darius Cooper, the undrafted rookie, Darius Cooper out of Tarleton State, he's been having a good training camp. You know, I think Terrace Marshall, not for lack of trying, missed too many days for me to say he's going to beat out Elijah Cooks or Ainias Smith. And Ainias Smith was drafted, so he has a little bit of an edge on him for that reason alone. Moving on from those 3 receivers, I want to get to the offensive line, right? Actually, you know what? Before I go O-line, let me go Will Shipley at running back, right? Will Shipley, he's going to make this roster. He's running back 3 right now behind A.J. Dillon and Saquon Barkley. Will Shipley made some plays in the playoffs for the Philadelphia Eagles. He had that really big run in the NFC Championship game. Will Shipley is somebody that I like personally. He's a scat back, a running back that can catch the ball to the backfield. He's fearless, has a nice one-cut move. You know what I mean? Athletic kid out of Clemson. I think Will Shipley is a talented young player. Can he show his value, or can he take his value to another level? We know what he can do. He catches the ball out the backfield. He's a guy that can make you miss with a cut. He's not the most elusive guy, but he's a guy that typically falls forward. He's a guy that typically fights for extra yards. I'm going to be really curious to see Will Shipley's usage tonight. We definitely will see. But getting to the offensive line, right? Kendall Lamb, Trevor Keegan, Quinyon Green, who the Eagles traded for, Darian Kennard, right? Now, Kendall Lamb is a veteran. He's been in the league for a long time. If I had to guess, I think Kendall Lamb makes this roster because of his experience, because he's played both left and right tackle, right? He's somebody who's a high character guy, a no nonsense kind of guy. And I think he's somebody you want on your offensive line, especially as a backup. I think Kendall Lamb is going to make this roster, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure he'll play tonight. I'm pretty sure. I just want to see how he looks. But because you're a veteran, it doesn't mean you're going to make the roster. It doesn't exactly mean that, but I'm assuming he will because of his experience. He's been around the league for a long time. Trevor Keegan, he's somebody that I've been high on since we drafted him. Trevor Keegan, out of Michigan, he's been an efficient offensive lineman. He doesn't give up sacks, or when he was in college, he didn't give up sacks. He's somebody that was really good in run blocking and pass pro. He was somebody who the Eagles kept off the practice squad, didn't allow him to get poached by anybody else. The Eagles like Trevor Keegan. They like him a lot. The question is, can he prove that he can be that backup guard, that backup swing guard, right? Can he show center capabilities? Because right now, Drew Kendall, and we're going to talk about him with the rookies, Drew Kendall so far has proven to be the best backup center. Trevor Keegan has to prove he can be a nice rotational guard in the event Tyler Steen gets hurt, because no one has truly been able to battle or make Tyler Steen uncomfortable at that right guard spot. Tyler Steen has been in full control of that right guard spot, and I thought Trevor Keegan could be somebody that can challenge Tyler Steen, not because Tyler Steen isn't good, but because I'm just high on Trevor Keegan, right? I like Tyler Steen as well, but I just thought Trevor Keegan could take his game to another level, and maybe he will, right? We'll see tonight. Quinyon Green is somebody who just hasn't done enough in camp. He started off camp hurt. I'm not high on him whatsoever. The Eagles traded for him in exchange for CJ sending him to the Texans, and we're going to talk about CJ later on. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson sustained a pretty significant injury in training camp, and I'm unsure how significant, but he was carted off, and we're going to talk about that later on. But Quinyon Green, he might not even make this roster, honestly. Darian Kennard. Now, Darian Kennard is interesting because he's somebody that the Eagles have been trying to develop to be like a backup tackle. He's had good days, he's had bad days, but it's about time Darian Kennard starts to take that step forward. I think he was working with Jason Kelce on the sideline when he was there. I don't know if that was Kennard or that was Laken Bakalahi. I can't remember. But Darian Kennard is somebody that Jeff Stoutland has really been trying to develop, and we'll see. So these are my non-rookies to watch, you guys. These are all the players that I think we should all be looking at who are not rookies, who are like second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, year players, veterans. These are the guys that I think we should all be looking at, because I think their success can make or break the depth on this team, especially on the edge. So, all right, now. Let's get to, excuse me, sorry about that, you guys. Let's get to where are we now? Where are we? All right, let's get to the rookies. All right. Let's get to the rookies, because the rookies are very, very, very exciting, right? You got guys like Antoine Powell-Ryland. You got guys like Jihaad Campbell, right? You got guys like Smile Mondon, who a lot of people are high on. You feel what I'm saying? Cameron Williams, Drew Kendall, Miles Hinton, Kyle McCord at quarterback, Matt McWilliams at cornerback, right? I'm looking at some of these guys here. I'll be honest. I'm going to be so locked in on Antoine Powell-Ryland. I'm going to be locked in on this guy like a hawk, man, because we're super excited about this guy. I think he had like 16 or 17 sacks in college. Make sure I got this right here. I think Antoine Powell-Ryland had a crazy senior season. He put up 16 sacks at Virginia Tech. 16 sacks. He's somebody that I think can probably battle Azeez Ojulari or Josh Uche for some key reps on the edge. I really, really do. I'm super excited to see Antoine Power. I want to see what all the humbug is about. Because when you get 16 sacks in college, man, that's not easy to do. He got 16 sacks in 12 games. Now, granted, he had some games where he had 3 sacks and 4 sacks, and you know what I mean, so on and so forth. But 16 sacks in 12 games is impressive. That means that you're taking advantage of the people who are not as good as you, which is what you should be doing, right? You know how to take advantage of inferior opponents, and you know how to show up against good ones. Simple as that. That's what it means to me. You know what I mean? Make sure you guys smash that like button, by the way. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, especially if you're new. It's a new season. We got 180 people locked in on this live stream, and we only got 46 likes. The math is not mathing. The math not mathing. So make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are locked in on the content. Like I told you guys yesterday, when we're in season, Chalk It Up Sports is in full effect. I don't think there's another channel working as hard as us. You feel what I'm saying? So make sure you guys stay locked in. Smash that like button. Like I said yesterday, we're going to have our pregame show as we're doing right now today. We're doing our pregame show right now. And then we're going to react to the game tomorrow. We're going to react to the game tomorrow. I won't be able to do a live stream tonight after the game, but we will be reacting to this game tomorrow. All right? We're going to be reacting to everything we saw. Right? It's going to give me an opportunity to watch the game twice, 3 times over. You know what I mean? Get my notes together. You feel what I'm saying? You know, so I appreciate all of you guys being locked into what you guys do. Make sure you smash that like button. We got over 160 people locked in. Get active, you guys. All right. So Antoine Power, we talked about him. Super effective, super productive player in college. Let's see if it translates to the regular, see if it translates to the preseason, right? Matt McWilliams at corner. I'm really excited to see him as well. It's funny, I wasn't the highest on him initially. I'll be fully transparent about that. I wasn't the highest on Matt McWilliams at first because of the size. But he's been making plays at camp. He's somebody that Vic Fangio has his own record saying he likes. He says specifically, and I quote, you know, the football savvy that he likes about the player, the instincts, right? Obviously, Matt McWilliams is a rookie, so he's going to make mistakes, but Fangio's on record detailing how much he really enjoys this player's football instincts. He has certain things that you can't teach, which is really important. So Matt McWilliams, I'm really curious to see what he does. And again, I'm going to get to all your super chats, you guys. Best believe that. All right. So keep them coming. Smile Mondon, Georgia Bulldog. More of an inside linebacker, not really an edge rusher per se, but Smile Mondon is somebody that comes with a lot of dynamic physical traits. Fast, strong. Let me see here. Smile Mondon 6'3", 230 brings good size to the position, right? Especially when you think about Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter. Those guys are like 6 feet, 6'1", about 215, 220, right? They're not really big guys, 220, 225. They're not the biggest guys, but Smile Mondon, 6'3", 230. Jihaad Campbell, like 6'4". Jihaad Campbell, 6'3", 244. You feel what I'm saying? Like, the two linebackers the Eagles drafted are bigger dudes, right? So Smile Mondon, you know, he has quirks in his game that needs to be ironed out, but I'm really curious to see what Smile Mondon does tonight as well. 9 times out of 10, we may see him on the field paired up with maybe Trotter Jr., or maybe we see Jihaad Campbell and Trotter Jr. first. Then we see Smile Mondon paired up with maybe Lance Dixon, right? Maybe we see that, or Dallas Gant, right? But we're not going to see Nakobe, obviously. We're not going to see Zach Baun tonight. We're going to see Jihaad Campbell and Trotter Jr. first up for maybe the first quarter. And then we'll see Smile Mondon, Dallas Gant on the field. Then maybe they take Jihaad Campbell off and keep Trotter Jr. on, and they pair him up with Smile Mondon or Lance Dixon. We'll see. But Smile Don, I'm pretty excited to see what he does. Andrew McCuba, I don't think he plays tonight. He's dealing with that shoulder. Now, The offensive linemen, Drew Kendall at center, Cameron Williams at offensive tackle, and Miles Hinton at tackle as well. Here's the thing about Drew Kendall. Drew Kendall has been turning heads at camp because Brett Toth has struggled with being the center. He's had bad snap after bad snap. Brett Toth just hasn't really taken that next step. Drew Kendall is somebody who has definitively been the better backup center to Cam Jurgens. Drew Kendall has just been more consistent than Brett Toth. So I think if I had to take a wild guess, if I had to bet on, I think Drew Kendall is going to likely be the backup center throughout the season, just because he's just been good at it. We'll see how he does tonight. Cameron Williams and Miles Hinton at tackle. Neither of these players have done enough to really unseat a veteran like Kendall Lamb, right? Neither of them had done enough to unseat a guy like Matt Pryor, who has guard and tackle experience. Cameron Williams and Miles Hinton, they're young, and they bring a ton of athleticism and size to the position, but they still have a lot of chinks, a lot of kinks to work out of their armor, to work out of their game. They're young, they're raw players, but we'll see how they do tonight. We're going to see a lot of those guys. We're going to see a lot of Darian Kennard. We're going to see a lot of Miles Hinton. We're going to see Highland Pierce tonight as well. I know a lot of you guys love Highland Pierce out of Rutgers. Who else are we going to see? We're going to see a lot of Lake and Vakalahi, right? So, it's going to be a really exciting night tonight, man. Again, football is back. Kyle McCord at quarterback, right? He's battling for that QB3 role, right? Will it be Dorian Thompson-Robinson who beats him out? Can Kyle McCord do enough to prove he's QB3? We know for a fact Terry McKee is QB2. That's not even a question. But can Kyle McCord prove that despite him being a rookie, he can prove that he can be quarterback 3 in the event of a situation? We will see tonight. All right. So again, I gave you guys the rookies that we're going to keep watching tonight. Obviously, we're going to be watching all the rookies, and I also gave you guys my non-rookies, my second and third, fourth, fifth year players and beyond, who I'm going to be watching tonight. That's Aziz Ojulari on the edge and Josh Uche, Byron Young and Gabe Hall at D tackle, Adoree Jackson and Tristan McCullum as defensive backs, Elijah Cooks, Terrace Marshall Jr., and Aniyah Smith at wide receiver, Kendall Lamb, Trevor Keegan, Kenyon Green, and Darian Kennard on the offensive line, and Will Shipley at running back. Okay? Now, let me get to your super chats. Let me get to some of your super chats. Before I do so, make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. If you're new to the show, I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II, and you guys are tuned to the Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. It means a lot to me, you guys. We got over 160 people in the stream. We only got 66 likes. So make sure you guys step your weight up, man. Hit that like button. It's very easy. It don't cost you nothing. That like button doesn't cost you a dime. Hit that like button, you guys. Exercise your power as a consumer. You want more content. You want this show to grow. You want this show to go to another level. Hit that like button and make sure you guys are commenting and being active. All right. Let's keep this ball rolling here. Let's get to these super chats. All right. We got AJ Jones. AJ Jones with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, AJ. I appreciate you. He says, "What's good, Tone? How you watching the game tonight?" So yeah, man. It's funny. Tonight, or today rather, is my 4th year wedding anniversary. Me and my wife have been married for 4 years today. So that's pretty exciting. So it's funny, man. I'm not going to be watching the game live. When I get back tonight from our festivities, the wife wants to go out, all that kind of stuff. So once I get back from my festivities, I'm going to be watching the game on playback. All right. So unfortunately, because it being my anniversary tonight or today, I'm not going to be able to watch the game live. I'm going to be watching the playback. So, it's the gift and the curse of being married, man. The gift and the curse. You got to make your sacrifices. You got to make your sacrifices, man. And I appreciate you guys for the kind words, the kind gestures. Thank you guys for all the correct congratulations. Thank you, Green Wingman, Sips Tea, Mike, Tasty Flower, Tiffany Dark Chocolate, AJ Jones, Carlos Rosado, Miss Fanny. Thank you guys so much for the kind words. I really do appreciate you guys. So yeah, I'm going to be watching the game on YouTube TV. That's how I'm watching the playback. And yeah, man. So that's pretty much my situation tonight, you guys. Got to take wifey out, got to entertain her. And then it's back to football, back to the grind. You know what I mean? Thank you for the super chat, AJ. Alex with the $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Alex. He says prayers out to CJ. Reports is that he tore his ACL or his Achilles. Ooh, let me look that up right now, man. Oh, man. Let me look that up, man. Jeez. CJ Gardner-Johnson. CJ Gardner-Johnson, man. Let me see. Says here. It says Texan CJ Gardner-Johnson carted off with apparent leg injury. Oh, man. Let's bring this up on screen here. Hold on. All right. Texan CJ Gardner-Johnson carted off with apparent leg injury. It says on the last day of practice for the Houston Texans in West Virginia, the injury bug struck. During a scrimmage at the Greenbrier Resort, safety CJ Gardner-Johnson went to tackle wideout John Amici III. After making contact, Gardner-Johnson fell to the ground. He was unable to move his lower right leg and writhed in pain as the entire practice fell silent. Players and coaches eventually surrounded Gardner-Johnson, and the medical staff helped him get on the cart. Gardner-Johnson was unable to put any pressure on his right leg. The Texans traded for their 2022 first rounder left guard. Okay, so man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Whew. Wow, man. So we don't know the full details of the injury quite yet, but he was carted off. He couldn't put any pressure. He couldn't put any pressure on his leg. Prayers up to CJ. He's been battling injuries the past 4 seasons. The Eagles were fortunate that he didn't get hurt in 2024. He got hurt in 2022 with the Eagles. He missed like the second half of the season. Let me pull this up real quick. So CJ Gardner-Johnson, it's funny, he battled injuries in New Orleans as well in 2021. But here's the thing, right? 2021 played in 12 games, started in 11 games for the Saints. 2022 played in 12 games, started 12 games for the Eagles, and he came back for the playoffs, right? 2023 missed damn near the whole season with the Detroit Lions, came back for the playoffs. Only played in 3 games, started in 2. And in 2024 with the Eagles, played in 16 games, all the regular season games, didn't play the last game because everybody sat out the last game, and was perfectly healthy throughout the playoffs. 2024, the Eagles were fortunate that he was healthy the entire time. Fortunate. And then he goes to a new situation with the Texans, and he gets hurt. I feel bad for CJ Gardner-Johnson. I like him as a player. I think he's an exciting person. You know what I mean? I think he ultimately means well when he speaks. It's really unfortunate that CJ is dealing with this right now. It's really unfortunate. And I don't wish this on him at all, man. It sucks, right? And then when you think about it from another perspective, you ask yourself, okay, Howie Roseman traded him, right? And maybe he traded him for other reasons. Maybe he traded him because whatever happened behind the scenes, we'll never know. But is it possible that Howie Roseman felt like, CJ Gardner-Johnson hasn't had the best luck with injuries? And listen, don't get me wrong, you guys. You can't predict injuries. You can't legislate them. God works in mysterious ways, okay? The human body, the human condition works in mysterious ways. So I'm not trying to say Howie Roseman saw the writing on the wall. He predicted this injury. Howie Roseman is a wizard or a fortune teller. No, I'm not trying to say that. But when you think about CJ Gardner-Johnson's injury history the past 4 or 5 years combined, you say to yourself, damn, maybe Howie Roseman took his chips and got out of the casino just in time. Let's just call it what it is. Howie Roseman took his chips and got out of the casino at the perfect time. And And I hate that this is happening to CJ. I don't wish this on him at all, man. I want him to get well. I want him to be healthy for the season. But he may not play this year because of this. He may not play this year, man. And it sucks. But Howie Roseman cashed his chips in and got out of the casino at the perfect time. It's the grind. It's the grind. You know what I mean? It's the grind. It is what it is. I'm sorry, Ron. It is what it is. I don't wish this on him. I feel bad. I hate that he's dealing with this. I wanted to CJ healthy. And again, I'm not saying how he thought about this. I'm making that very clear. I'm saying, hey, that's the way it looks. I'm not saying he tried to predict the injury. I'm saying, hey, how we traded him, he got out of the casino at the right time. When you go to the casino, you can't predict shit. When you go to the casino, you are in control of nothing. Everything is purely by chance. Purely by chance. Everything is chance. So that's why I use the casino reference. Because Howie Roseman gambled trading CJ. He gambled. I think we all can agree that trading CJ GJ was a gamble. And I'm not even talking about injuries. I'm talking about for the integrity of your defense. Trading CJ was a gamble. And we don't even know how that's going to pan out for us. But on his side of things, on the Texan side of things, it's not panning out for them right now. And Howie Roseman, although he's gambling on these young guys to step up, when it comes to CJ GJ, he got out of the casino at the right time, whether for good reason or not a good reason. Whether he moved on from CJ for off the field issues, whatever it is, he got out of the casino at the perfect time. And in my humble opinion, there's no other way to look at it. So I pray for CJ GJ's health. I pray for CJ's continued prosperity, man. I hope it's not a season-long injury. Maybe he comes back for the playoffs for the Texans. Maybe he comes back mid-season. Maybe the injury isn't as bad as we think. I really feel bad for him, man. I really, really feel bad for CJ. So prayers to him, prayers to his family. He's the breadwinner of his family. He has a lot of people that depend on him. And I really just wish him well. I really, really wish him well. All right. Let's move on to another super chat, you guys. You guys are tuned in to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Alex back again with another super chat. Alex says here with the $4.99 chat, he says, too many fans are nervous heading into the season, in my opinion. We have the best roster in the league. We need to be more confident in our team. Go Birds. Hey, you know what it is, man, Alex? I think it's just, preseason jitters. I think people are just, really excited for the season to start. I think people just don't want any bad thing to happen. You know what I mean? They don't want to see anybody get hurt. I think people just feel that pressure, coming into the following season. They understand that, the Eagles, all eyes are going to be on the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody's going to give the Philadelphia Eagles their best shot. And other teams are going to use the Philadelphia Eagles as a barometer to see if they're competitors or not, to see if they're contenders or not. You see, the Philadelphia Eagles, they are the litmus test. The Philadelphia Eagles are the standard. Teams are going to come to Lincoln Financial Field. Teams are going to play the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're going to say to themselves, if we can beat them, we can beat anybody. And it's up to the Philadelphia Eagles to prove that nah. You're not going to come into the Lincoln and beat us. We're the standard. We're the litmus test. You got to prove yourself against us. The Eagles don't got to prove themselves against nobody else. But the Eagles got to prove everything to themselves, that they're the ones to be fucked with, or they're not the ones to be messed with, however you guys want to look at it. So I think people are just really excited about the team. I think people are just, they're feeling that pressure of being the champions, the reigning champs. But, It comes with it. Every team is going to give you their best shot. Every team is going to throw them bowls, man. You just got to be ready to throw yours. Simple as that. All right. Miss Fanny the Eagles fan with the super chat, the $5 super to be specific. Thank you, Miss Fanny. She says, I still think Sidney is taking up a safety spot when he should stay at gunner. He's too aggressive, and it was said in the pressers he's lacking finesse. Nah, I'm not ready to jump out the window, Fanny. I'm not ready to cash in my Sidney Brown stock just yet. Not yet. You know what I mean? We got to give him a real opportunity to develop, because Sidney Brown, his rookie season, had a terrible coaching staff. His second season, he was recovering from the ACL and didn't really have a training camp with Vic Fangio. And now he's entering year 3 with his first healthy offseason since his rookie year, with the actually competent coaching staff. So if there's any coaching staff that can bring the best out of Sidney Brown, I think it's this one. I'm not ready to give him with Sidney Brown just yet. I think I'm starting to believe that I'm higher on Sidney Brown than other people are. Now, granted, I'm on record betting that Andrew Mukuba is the starter week 1, but that was barring injuries, right? Now that Andrew Mukuba is dealing with a shoulder, he's missed some days in training camp. I think Sidney Brown has the edge on him. Now, Sidney Brown, again, he does have some quirks to his game he needs to iron out. But when I think about aggressiveness, the fire he plays with, you know, that juice, that swagger, I think the Eagles need that on defense. And everything Sidney Brown brings, you want on your defense. He just has to slow down a bit. That's all. And I think Vic Fangio, Christian Parker, and Joe Casper are the perfect guys to get him right. So we'll see how he plays tonight. We will see. I'm not ready to give up on Sidney Brown just yet, Fanny. Not quite. All right. Where were we? Carlos Rosado with the super chat. Thank you, Carlos. I really do appreciate you. Carlos says here, Tone, we got Birds football tonight. Let's go. Carlos, we back, baby. We in full effect, baby. We back, baby. You feel me? Football is back, and I am fiending. Green Wingman with the super chat, man. Thank you. He says Johnny Wilson only makes the team because tight ends Harrison Bryant and Kylan Granson hasn't produced in training camp. Well, I don't know if Johnny Wilson has even taken tight end reps. That's another question, right? Has Johnny Wilson even taken tight end reps in training camp? If Johnny Wilson makes this roster, it's only because he could block. It's just that simple. If Johnny Wilson makes this roster, it's only because he could block, because he has not proven he's a better wide receiver than Elijah Cooks. He has not proven he's a better wide receiver than Nia Smith. He has not proven he's a better wide receiver than Terrace Marshall Jr. He hasn't even proven he's a better receiver than Darius Cooper. So when you think about it from that perspective, I have a hard time looking at Johnny Wilson right now as somebody who's a threat. He can block. That's it. He can block. And that's useful, but he's an inconsistent catcher. He has bricks for hands, and I don't know how serious he's taking his craft. I don't know. I'm not there, so I'm not going to quantify his work ethic. But I've heard more good things about Elijah Cooks. I've heard more good things about Nia Smith than I've heard about Johnny Wilson. And if I'm not mistaken, he dropped his only Super Bowl catch. He dropped it. Michael McClain with the $2 super. He says, football is back. Go Birds. You already know, McClain. You already know, man. I'm super excited about this game tonight. I am super excited. I cannot wait to get home tonight and watch this game on repeat. I can't wait to analyze what I see. I can't wait to just watch guilt-free football and just watch guys battle. I can't wait, man. I cannot wait. All right, let's see where we are. We're about an hour into the show. We got 200 people on the live stream. We got 89 likes, man. You guys are phenomenal. Let's keep this ball rolling, man. Make sure you guys keep smashing that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. The show only gets better. The content only gets more electric. You feel what I'm saying? Make sure you guys are smashing that like button. Make sure you guys are locked in. All right? I really can't wait, man. We're gonna begin to close this live stream out, though. You know, you guys I like to keep it at an hour, especially at this point in the year when the season starts. Oh, nah. We're going to have so much more to get into, so much more to tap into. You feel what I'm saying? We're going to have more guests on the show. You know, obviously me and Coach Marcus from Pro Fan Talk, we're going to be doing our weekly shows. We're going to give you guys 2 shows a week, a Tuesday show, and we're going to give you guys a Sunday show, okay? So tune in on Sundays for Coach Marcus Thomas from Pro Fan Talk. Make sure you guys tune into him and myself on Sundays for your Eagles pregame show, and make sure you guys tune in on Tuesday as we recap Sunday's festivities and we preview the following week's games. So make sure you guys lock in with Coach Marcus and I 2 days a week, Sundays and Tuesdays. All right. And then obviously the link up featuring Simone Stanley, Lord Brunson, and myself. We're going to be giving you guys weekly podcasts, weekly episodes covering your Philadelphia Eagles, and it's straight like that. We got another super chat here from Fanny, the Eagles fan. Miss Fanny, thank you for the donation, sis. I really do appreciate you. She says, no Super Bowl hangover over here. We got the team and we got the talent. Now let's get the title. Fly like an eagle. I feel that. Miss Fanny. I know that's right. I know that's right, girl. It's that time of year. We balling, baby. Listen, we the ones with the jewels. We the ones that's the standard. We're the litmus test. You feel what I'm saying? So don't let nobody tell you different. It's just that simple. All right. Like I said, we got a lot of people to watch tonight, man. Make sure you guys keep your eye on a lot of these young players. All right. Make sure you guys keep your eyes on. Let's see where we are here. Keep your eyes on Aziz Ojolari. Keep your eyes on Josh Uche, Byron Young, and Gabe Hall at D tackle. Keep your eye on Adoree Jackson at corner, Tristan McCullum at safety, Elijah Cooks, Terrace Marshall Jr., and Anaya Smith at receiver, Kendall Lamb, Trevor Keegan, Kenyon Green, and Darian Kennard on the offensive line, and Will Shipley at running back. Also, make sure you guys keep your eye on the rookies, man. Antoine Powell-Ryland, Matt McWilliams, Smile Mondon, Jihaad Campbell, Andrew Makuba's not playing tonight, Drew Kendall, Cameron Williams, and Miles Hinton on the O-line, and Kyle McCord at quarterback. And also, again, I give you guys my top five guys I'm going to be watching tonight. My top 5 guys that pique my interest are, number 1, Keely Ringo, for obvious reasons, Ty Robinson at D tackle, Jihaad Campbell at linebacker. Can't wait to see what he does. Sidney Brown at safety, and Elijah Cooks at wide receiver. I think Elijah Cooks is probably going to end up being the 4th best wide receiver on this team right now. Could be Darius Cooper, could be Anaya Smith, could be Johnny Wilson, could be Terrace Marshall Jr. But right now, I'm buying all the Elijah Cook stock. I'm buying and investing in all the Elijah Cook stock right now. All right, you guys, that's been our show. That's been our pregame show to get you guys ready for tonight's preseason opener. Eagles versus Bengals at Lincoln Financial Field, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time, and 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you guys like it on the playback. You feel what I'm saying? Comment. Give all the activity. Give all the engagement to me, you guys. I appreciate the love and I appreciate the support. Let's keep this ball rolling. It's Fly Eagles Fly. Can't wait to watch the game tonight. I've been your humble host, Tone DeShields II, and you guys have been locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.